I'm sure you know.
That's what happened.
I hate to see you look like what I'm doing. I hate to see you move out of your head.
Good evening. I'd like to call the Michael City Council Town Hall meeting to order. We appreciate everybody coming. The purpose of tonight's meeting is for us to listen to your comments, to ask questions, and we will respond as best we can. If we cannot answer your questions, we promise to get back with you. We do have some people who have signed up. After those people have spoken, we will give anybody else who would like to an opportunity to speak or ask questions, okay? What we would like to do is for anybody that's going to speak once. So unload on everything you want to unload on with your first one, okay? With that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Jarrett for some comments.
I've got it. Thank you, Mayor Council. I'm going to be brief because we want to hear from you tonight, but just a few introductory comments. We really appreciate everybody coming tonight and appreciate your interest in the future of the city of Franklin. We want to remind everybody or share, if you didn't know, that we are going to be on Facebook Live tonight while you're speaking. So if you know somebody who's not here, not able to attend, but wanted to watch us, this will be on Facebook Live on the City of Franklin Municipalities page. It will also be posted to our YouTube channel tomorrow, as well as our PEG channel. So if you have anybody that wants to watch the playback, please share that with them. Also, if you know of anybody that was not able to make it tonight or wasn't aware that we were having this town hall, we're going to have a second town hall meeting with the same format. I'm hearing from you all, and that's scheduled for June 11th at 7 p.m. in this same room. So again, our second town hall, June 11th at 7 p.m. here in this room. As was stated earlier by Mayor Rabel, the purpose of this meeting tonight was to provide City Council an opportunity to hear from the citizens in a more relaxed format than our City Council meetings and without a time restriction that you typically might have. We want to hear from you about your vision and the future of the City of Franklin. As was mentioned, if you'd like to speak and you haven't signed up, even if you have, please just make sure that you state your name and address for the record. So in case there is any follow-up that we have a way to reach you. So prior to getting started, I've been asked to share a few of the items that were discussed at the City Council retreat. They had a retreat that was held on May 4th. And at that retreat, we set some immediate, midterm, and long-term priorities for the city. So some of the immediate priorities was this town hall, and so those have been scheduled. The Southampton County Courthouse project, that's been covered quite extensively in the newspaper recently, but to understand what are the needs of the project, what costs are associated with the city of Franklin's courthouse. Other immediate priorities were strategy around the cost of health insurance for city employees. We also talked a lot about paving the city and conditions of certain infrastructure across the city of Franklin. And so as a result, we are actually going to be taking a field trip on June 17th. All of city council will get together and we will be in a van and drive throughout each other's wards in the afternoon and then again in the evening. So that's scheduled for June 17th, and that was a way for all of city council to understand the needs across all sections of the city. Another item that we discussed as an immediate priority was Franklin Power and Light have an evaluation of the system, looking at the efficiency of that system in the future of Franklin Power and Light. Meeting with our state legislators to make sure that they understand the city's needs, especially with regards to potential grant funding for capital projects that we've had to delay. We talked a lot about the EMS billing collection, and hopefully you all met some of our fabulous staff from Franklin Fire and Rescue this evening as they passed out informational flyers about our subscription service. We have a monopole project that needs to be done that we're going to work with Community Electric on, and then a rental inspection program that's been discussed at length, getting that started, and that group is actually scheduled to have their first meeting this Friday. Some of the midterm goals were with regards to city buildings, our HVAC systems, development of properties and projects across the city that have been delayed, recruitment and retention of employees, a longer-term paving plan, an organizational review of the city to make sure we're doing the right things with the right staffing levels. And then future of the Fairview Drive property that the city owns that I believe was discussed this evening at the Planning Commission meeting. And then longer term, develop a strategic housing plan for housing across the city, work with the community development block grant projects. What's the future of the Franklin Airport, waypoint signage, and then making sure that we have a capital fleet maintenance program and plan. So those are some of the things that were discussed at the retreat. I think we all know that the city of Franklin has its fair share of challenges, but this truly is a fabulous city despite what may have been said recently. And working together, we know the council and staff knows that we can overcome those challenges, but it takes everybody sharing a vision and being willing to move forward. And so hopefully that's what we'll be able to start tonight with this opportunity to hear from all of you. So again, we appreciate you coming. I believe the mayor will start from the sign-up list that was already completed. And again, make sure that you state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jarrett. We'll start off with Ray Smith.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor Shields, City Councilman, and first of all, in my entire life, I've never been to a town hall meeting. So I don't know what to expect and didn't know what to do, but I think I commend you to give us the opportunity to speak. I recently saw a Facebook post. It was kind of interesting. It said, the reason the rearview mirror is so small and the windshield so large is because you should spend most of your time looking forward. So what I want to talk to you tonight is about a few things that some are passionate to me personally, and some of them are just general things that I think we need to look at to go forward. And in the scheme of things, they're probably pretty minimal, but we just received this so-called bad news about being the worst city in the state of Virginia. Well, in some ways, it may be the best thing that's ever happened to us. I saw more positive thoughts and comments about this city in the last 3 or 4 days than I think I've seen in 20 years. I believe we have a group of individuals, citizens, who really do want to see us go forward. Union Camp's gone. They're not coming back. So it's up to us to do the planning and do the things necessary to take our city into the future. I'd like to talk a little bit about the quality of life. We have to improve the quality of life in the city of Franklin. And this is a pretty extensive subject that you could talk about for hours. We're losing our youth. They go to college, they join the military, they find that there's quality of life in other places and they don't come back. My children have done that, and some of your children have done that, and I'm sure people in the audience's children have done that. We need to stop this behavior. We need to provide things that the millennials want today. And we need to provide those things so that they will stay here. We will not have any future if our youth continues to leave. First of all, I believe our zoning ordinances and our city codes are outdated for the 21st century. I don't believe we've looked at these codes in many years. I was on the planning commission for 12 years. We continuously alter, change, and try to correct the bad zoning and city ordinances. We need to look at these carefully so we can plan for the future. We spend an extensive amount of time on a comprehensive plan, but we do it the same old way we've always done it. We don't plan for the future. We don't look at futuristic things to do. This is a growing society. It's a growing world, and there's a lot of things going on in this world that we need to come up to speed with. I'll list a few things that are pretty minimal, but in the scheme of things, are really pretty large. There are 20 million bicycles produced in the United States. You can do these fact checks because I've checked them. There's 20 million bicycles produced in the United States every year. Every major city in the country has a program for cycling. Most small towns and cities are adopting trails, roadways, and paths so the young people of today and even the older people can exercise with bicycles. They're environmentally friendly. They meet most stabilization or sustainability plans. The city of Franklin, their comprehensive plan does not even have a sustainability plan. We're going into a world that Mr. McNamara talks about solar energy. He talks about it a lot. We don't have a sustainability plan. Bicycles are community friendly. They bring people together. We even have signs in Franklin that prohibit the use of bicycles. You can imagine that. We have no bicycle racks, except in a few public facilities, hardly any private facilities. This is the standard and the norm in most cities. In some cities, it's the major form of transportation. In college towns, which we're becoming one, it provides economical travel for college students. Pets. This is really kind of interesting. 68% of American households owns a pet. That's 85 million people. To my knowledge, we don't have a single watering station for a pet in Franklin, Virginia. We have only one park that's equipped to handle pets. We have no walking trails for pets. But in my house, people walk, 10 or 12 people every day walk their pets without watering facilities. You may think it's a small thing, but if you want to bring people to live here, this is what people do in life today. Recreational vehicles. There's 9 million recreational vehicles on the road today. We don't have one legal parking place in the city of Franklin. And the closest legal site, I believe, is 30 miles away. If you expect tourists and visitors This has to change. Old thinking refers to these as trailer parks. These 9 million people spend money, pay taxes, and want to come to our community. They have to park at Walmart. So therefore they don't come. They travel in very expensive motor homes and travel trailers. 9 million people are riding the roads of this country. They're not stopping in Franklin, Virginia. We're looking in the rearview mirror. We're not looking out the windshield. Golf carts. It's a $1.1 billion business. Most progressive communities today are creating golf cart friendly neighborhoods. They bring people together. People shop, dine, travel, and they're economical. If you want to grow up and be like the rest of the world, we need to follow the lead of some other communities. Signage. Without direction, no one knows where to go. Our city signage is old, out of date, confusing, and not visitor or travel friendly. Forward-thinking communities are putting up modern wayfinding systems to direct people how to find needed services, activities, and parking. Our downtown needs more handicap and loading zones. Signage will correct some of the controversy. Visitor centers. 32% of all visitors of towns and cities in the United States visiting a visitor center. We need a visitor center that has regular business hours, manned by people who are local, people who know the community. They provide the centralized location to promote our business, heritage, museums, and other city amenities of a community. And then I'll talk about one of the most controversial things that I believe we need to change. Churches. One of our basic freedoms in the United States is freedom of religion. That being said, churches should not be in retail locations in our downtown. These buildings were not designed for churches. There needs to be a professional way with good communication to resolve this issue. Again, our zoning ordinances are obsolete. Living spaces. We need modern, up-to-date, amenity-driven apartment living spaces. No one wants to live here if you don't have affordable, modern living spaces. We're looking out the rearview mirror. In our riverfront, this is one of the most underutilized assets in the city. We need to quickly figure out how to use it. Improve our quality of life. In summary, these are all economic development issues. It's part of our responsibility to participate. Public, semi-public, private, industrial groups and organizations to do this. Each of these issues are easy to accomplish when we forget the past and look forward. When you do, business industry will return. People will shop, people will move here, which will increase our tax base and allow us to grow and reinvest. Again, I'd like to thank each one of you for your courage to come out here tonight and listen to what everybody has to say. I think that's the first step in us joining together as a team and helping our city grow and stop being on these kind of lists that people produce with no vital facts. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody have any No questions? Good comments. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Horace Sykes. It's okay if I call you Tommy?
My name is Horace Sykes. I live at 217 Sycamore Road. I have one question. If it's correct, I saw in the Tidewater News where we have 2 police officers short on the force. And I read in the Tidewater News about the new courthouse, that they need parking to secure the judges. So why can't we have a full police force in Franklin to take care of the 8,000 plus citizens in Franklin versus to protecting just a few judges? So that's just one question I have. I think we need a full police force. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Sharon Waters.
Mr. Mayor, we have an answer to the issue.
Yeah, you want to say something?
We had the deputy chief in the back, or the chief, interim chief, and you might be able to answer better than I can, but what I've seen in the years I've been on city council is, one is it's really hard to find recruits. This is not in Franklin, this is across the country. We have tried lots of different things to try to get them to come in to Franklin. We just haven't been successful. We don't want a full force, we do, but we're not able to attract them to come. And talking to chief in the last 3 or 4 or 5 months, it's like a 5-month process once you find somebody to get them into where they're ready to go to work for the city. So it's a long, arduous process to go through once you find them. So that's part of the issue that we're having with getting good qualified police officers to come to Franklin. Pay and health insurance is always an issue anywhere you go, but I think the biggest ones is the recruits, good quality recruits. They're just not out there like, and the bigger cities are attracting the ones that are there. Defer to the chief if he wants to say anything else, but that's kind of what
I just checked with Deputy Chief Corey, and we are down one, we have one open position. We do have the 3 frozen positions and the one that was eliminated, but we only have 1 vacancy at this point in time. And the, just a point of clarification or information, I didn't fully understand this, the sheriff's department is responsible for courthouse security. So the Franklin Police Department officers don't provide the courthouse security. That's the responsibility of the sheriff's department.
I'd just like to say that I think that the root of your question is how can we provide for others while we're not providing for our own? And I think that if indeed that is what you are asking, would that be accurate, what you were asking? How can we provide for the sheriffs or judges, but not for the 8,000 citizens of Franklin? Is that right? Okay. I agree with you. We have to put Franklin first. Franklin, without getting into a long answer, I agree with you. We have to put Franklin first. This courthouse situation is something that we'll be more than happy to answer our questions that you might have in regards to it to the best of our ability from what we do know, which is everything. but we do know more than we did know. So, I agree with you. We need to prioritize. And one of the things that, I have to share this. I've been at it, and most people in here know me. I've been shouting from the rooftops for a long time about a lot of things. And a lot of it falls on deaf ears. But I want to thank you all for coming out tonight, because it was in our retreat that I started shouting, we need to have a town hall meeting. And the purpose of this meeting, which my colleagues agreed to, is to hear what you think, because you may have ideas. I'm an ideas person. I believe in coming up with an idea to do something that doesn't currently exist. That's innovation, that's vision. And you might have an idea how we can fix our city, how we can bring jobs here, how we can bring businesses here. I applaud Mr. Smith for his ideas that he brought. And that's why we're here, to hear your ideas, your concerns, and answer your questions. So yes, Franklin should be putting Franklin first. Thank you.
Ms. Waters?
Good evening.
Good evening.
How is everyone?
Doing great.
Great, great. I am very glad to be here today. My name is Sharon Campbell Waters. I am the Special Assistant to the President and CEO of STOP. That's like STOP Inc. And my address is Chesapeake, Virginia, not too far from here, about maybe 45 minutes. But Franklin has always been one of my key places as I traveled through on my way originally from Alabama. So, you know, in order to get to Alabama, we have to go right through Franklin, right? To get to Emporia, 85, and then on south. I'd like to just tell you briefly about STOP. STOP Inc. is a designated community action agency that was established in 1965 by the Community Services Block Grant. Franklin is and has always been one of STOP's jurisdictions, and we have served Franklin in various capacities through the years. Our other jurisdictions that we serve are Chesapeake, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Virginia Beach, Suffolk, Isle of Wight, and of course, Southampton County and Franklin. I am here tonight because I'm glad that STOP is a recent member of the Franklin Southampton Coalition that is led by Reverend Rollins under of the Celebration Church. He is the actual leader of the coalition, and we're very excited to be a part of that under his organizational leadership. We also are, we meet at the Parks and Recreation Department where the director, Frank Davis, and Ms. Samara Bailey, who's also here tonight. So they are hosts and also the organizational leaders of the Franklin Southampton Coalition. We recently have joined the coalition because we are partnering with the city of Franklin on a grant, $1 million grant from the Health Resources and Services Administration. We hope to find out within the next month or so if we're so blessed to receive it. If not, we're going to keep on trying until we get it. But basically, this is called the R-CORE grant. That's R for Rural Core grant. And this grant is specifically looking at the different ways wherein the opioid crisis, because it's affecting communities throughout our nation, specifically rural communities. So with this grant, we will be able to look not only at how the opioid crisis affects residents within the community, but also those who have substance use disorders too, including alcohol and other addictions, and how it affects the people's lives and the barriers to recovery. So if we are successful, we will, of course, will be working with the city and on our 4 key areas that STOP already has, which are education, employment, housing, and health. So regardless of whether or not we are fortunate to obtain the grant, we will be here on a regular basis, working with Franklin as one of our jurisdictions to see how we can help and work with the community, because community is so necessary. Without community, there is no liberation. And we understand that nothing is impossible, because the word itself says impossible. So I'm very pleased to be here tonight, and thank you for letting me have these few words. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Jeanette Austin.
Good evening, my name is Jeanette Austin, 1504 Virginia Street, Virginia. I come to this ask for a question. I wanted to know, what are we going to do about applying jobs for the young people, the young generations, and when they do graduate, what do we have for them? Do we have anything to offer them here in the city of Franklin? And I wanted to know, instead of everything just leaving Franklin, I wanted to know, what are you all gonna do about the different clothes and everything? Are we going to provide some things to come here to Franklin? Are we gonna try to get business to come in? As I like said, we want it's been big on provide jobs to come into Franklin. And that'll be one way that we can keep our people in Franklin, and we will be able to provide jobs and business to come to Franklin. It seems like everything just wants to leave Franklin because we. But anyway, you can answer that for me, see what we can do about, getting things to come in. And also, I want to say thank you to that young lady who was talking about STOP's organization. I remember when I was very, very young, kind of maybe 13 or 14, I worked for STOP organization. That was a good organization that we had back in the day. And that's it.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks.
Well, answering your question, I think that in 9 years, or going on 9 years since I've been on council, the only people who have been up there longer are Councilman Cheatham and Councilman Burgess in his 12 years. It's been said and pretty much stamped that the responsibility of economic development falls primarily on an agency. Ours is FSEDI, standing for Franklin Southampton Economic Development Incorporated. I have always felt differently about that. I felt like it's the responsibility of your elected officials for us to make sure that businesses come to this city, and should be one of the gauges in which you use in your selection of your elected officials. That's just my opinion on answering your question. I think we leave it up to someone else and they'll do the best they can, but they're not the ones that you voted for. They're not the ones you expect to produce. So I think that we need to, you said, what are we gonna do? Personally, I think we need to get more involved. And that's not to say that everybody up here won't, do that casually and try to invite businesses. And I'm sure we all would encourage people. I run across business owners who have told me that Councilman Johnson has tried to get them to open a business here in Franklin. which is commendable. So we do some of that, but I think that it needs to be more of a priority of your elected officials to try to bring jobs to our city. Because that report that was released, one of the reasons that got us supposedly on one of those criteria was our unemployment rate. And as we know, it's very interesting because I see signs around Franklin now hiring. They have them at Lowe's, they have them at different places. You see people hiring. So I used to own a business here on Armory Drive, and I have the same problem with hiring people. I think it's almost a national problem. But we have to have jobs that entice people, kind of like Mr. Smith was saying, jobs that entice young people that deal with technology, that deal with modern things, modern issues, as well as creating things, you know, and the service industry. I think jobs should be a main priority of any elected official to try to bring jobs here. And it's my goal to continue to fight for your elected officials to be more involved in doing that, opposed to just depending on an agency to get it done.
Do we have anyone from FSBI, your city manager, where they can respond to that question?
The chair, Mr. Hedgepeth, is here. I don't know if he wants to be put on the spot. But I'm happy to provide some additional insight if you'd like me to, or I can follow up with her on individually.
I feel like you asked what council's going to do. Council is trying. We've been proactive. I know I've been here for almost 2 years. We've been proactive. A lot of things at stake. You have to have sites that are ready, prepared for companies when they're ready to come here. You have to be able to have people that live here and that want to work at these companies, and the companies come and open up, they have to be ready to bring employees in. So we got to go forward, as Mr. Smith said earlier, we've got to be proactive on planning, because you got to have places for people to live. You've got to have a reason for people to want to come to Franklin. We are way behind, we know that, but we are trying. So it's gonna take all of us in this room to make it happen, not just council. It's gonna take the whole city. So we need to pull up, get together, and just throw ideas, and it's much appreciated.
I'd just like to, the last year or so, I've been hanging around with Mr. Smith, and he's taught me an awful lot. And the one thing that he keeps saying, we keep talking about going and getting jobs, he keeps hammering home, it's the quality of life that will bring the jobs. So if we want the jobs, we gotta work on the quality of life. He's hammered it home to me and hammered it home to me. It took me a long time to maybe come around to his side of thinking. We've tried working to get jobs here. We had people come in that the state brought to us, and we've worked and tried to give them incentives, and we've not been able to land that business. And we're not gonna stop trying, but if we fix the quality of life, we're beginning to believe that's the ingredient that we're missing. So we need to look at these things real seriously, and that's something that we need to do right here.
And Colin, the only thing I was going to say, extra besides what Dave said, is we also have to have a trained workforce. We either go to college or we don't have anything to do. And I have to take my hats off to Paul, because they have started doing a lot of training kids and getting them ready for a workforce, for jobs. We still got to have what everybody else has said, to bring the jobs in. But part of what companies look for is, where's the workforce and who's going to help you do the job? And so Pauly's now doing that. They've changed their system a little bit, and I think if you need something trained, you just have to talk to them, and they'll work with you. So I think that's going to help us in the long run as well.
Also, kudos to our public school system. They they've got an opportunity to eat program that's working really well, and the coordinator there is setting up internships, for those kids and giving them the opportunity to work in businesses. We also are looking at a more robust CTE program, career technical education program, where that we have children and kids who don't or won't, or don't need to go to college, don't want to go to college, but we need to train them up with some type of skill. So the idea there would be that they would graduate from high school with a certificate or two, in trade, so they would be able to be employed. And what the college is doing, the college has worked with FSCDI as well as existing business to identify what are the jobs that are out there and how do they start training them up. So the college, Dr. Lufkin and his staff have done a marvelous job really in trying to identify what those things are and move it along. So, we are making progress, collectively and collaboratively, and that's the only way it's going to be successful. Okay?
Good evening to everyone. Good evening to everyone. How's everyone feeling? Fine? I think everyone should be great, right? You should be feeling great, excited, because what? This is a new day. This is not an old day. This is a new day. A new day of beginning for the city of Franklin. Okay? We're building a brand. How many people, raise your hand, to know what a brand is? Okay? Great. In order for a city to be productive, it must have a brand to draw businesses in to the city. The last 3 years, we've had more companies coming in to look at the city of Franklin than ever in its history. That is a purpose. What we have to do now is, well, by the way, everyone heard about the fake news, right? About the city of Franklin being the worst city in the Commonwealth, correct? No one believes that, right? You shouldn't, because if you do, you are what you say you are. Correct? So we're not the worst city in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We are the greatest city. Okay. Recently, as Mr. McLemore said, part of my business is to get businesses into the city. I know we have something in place to do that, an organization to do that, and that's great, and we work together. But as a consultant, I look at international businesses as well as businesses outside of the Commonwealth coming into the city. You have to have a vision. Where there is no vision, people perish. Apathy develops. When apathy develops, cities go down. Now, I was elected last October with VML. I'm the vice president of the City of Cities in the Commonwealth of Virginia, which Franklin is one, Emporia, Petersburg, Hopewell, all over the Commonwealth. And what it is, the smaller cities, 32,000 or less, we put plans together and we help those cities to grow and develop. The same way we have a town hall meeting. When we had the meeting before, Mr. McLemore mentioned a town hall meeting, a spark, the light bulb went off. I said, that's great for our city. We all have to be a team to come on board with that. That's part of the brand, a new day. So basically, with the branding, because economically, it costs to develop brands. So I went out and contacted our organizations, the Cities of Cities, which I'm a member of. That's all the cities over the United States of America. They have offered to help us with our brand. VML, which takes care of all of the cities. The director is gonna come to help us with the brand, put us on the news media, magazines, social media. And this is a new thing for Franklin, where it's a positive thing to move forward. What you have to do when someone gives you a negative idea, you have to spin that into a positive. When you allow someone to direct your future and your path, you're gonna fail. We have to do that as a city. We have to come together as a team, work together. I believe in teamwork, working together, and we can all make this happen. I'm excited about that, to have each and every one out tonight, and we want your input, because working together, we can move forward, and that's the only way to move forward. I commend everyone who has come up with some ideas. If someone else who's sitting in the audience would like to come up to share, because what we want to do is basically collect this information, get it back together, and work it out. This is the time for our delegates to get information to our state and local delegates. Basically, so when next January comes and the governor is passing bills, we'll be able to get some bills passed. There are some things that are coming up new. They have in the state of Virginia in November. It will be casino gambling and so forth in various areas. You have a number of other programs that are coming that the General Assembly has passed. We had a meeting on that this week. There will be some good things that are happening in the Commonwealth. I will not go over all those tonight. But basically, the most important thing is pass the word for the next meeting to have more of our citizens come out so they can share and get on board. Because the only way we're going to make Franklin grow is working together as a team. I believe in doing that, and I put my energy into doing that wherever I go and travel throughout the state, throughout the United States and other countries. We talk about the city of Franklin, Virginia. So basically, if you have some ideas, please share them so we can move forward. Thank you.
Cindy and Henry Thompson, if you want to speak. Lynn Rabel.
I do appreciate this opportunity. I think it's wonderful, and I hope we can do more of this sort of thing in an informal setting. It's nice to get feedback as people are speaking. I will echo a lot of what Mr. Smith had to say. Benny hasn't heard it from just Mr. Smith. I think quality of life is the most important thing we can do for economic development, for the education of our children, for any number of things in the city of Franklin. Quite frankly, I am unable to walk safely out of my neighborhood along High Street. I can't ride a bike in and out of the city safely. We have a very valuable opportunity to take advantage of a retirement community that has built a beautiful facility with a lot of wonderful people who can't get out of their community by walking, biking, or riding golf carts very safely. There are more and more people using golf carts recreationally, and they're doing it probably illegally. I see them come through my neighborhood, but they can't get out on High Street safely. I understand there's a lot of expense involved in building the type of infrastructure for this type of activity, but there are a lot of grants that are available. There are a number of opportunities out there, and I'm quite confident that in the past, we've not taken full advantage of the grants that are available to the people in the city of Franklin. There are state grants, there are grants all across the nation, there are local grants that are available. Some for health, some environmental, some for conservation, but there are grants available. And I'm very confident that if the city could fund a grant writing position, it would pay for itself exponentially. I also know that there's a coalition currently working toward looking at big picture kinds of needs for that purpose. But what I really hope is that council and the administration will make it a top priority and make sure that this comes to fruition. What is less expensive than the infrastructure for bike paths and walking paths or golf cart paths is simply maintaining cleanliness and beautification. Keep our streets clean. Make sure the grass and the building ordinances are kept and enforced. I understand Mr. Smith thinks some of the ordinances are out of date, but some of them aren't enforced and need to be enforced. It's very disconcerting to ride through a neighborhood and see a sofa that's been sitting out on the side of the road in a neighborhood for 3 to 4 weeks. And either the neighbors don't know to call, the city trying to pick it up, or the city just ignores it. But that's a pet peeve of mine. I would like to see every single school in of all 3 schools involved in Clean Rivers Day. And out on that day, a designated day, picking up trash along the roads and on their playgrounds. And maybe with that, we can instill a feeling of caring of the environment, instill in these young children coming along a feeling for the environment and cleanliness and litter. And if they're having to pick up their trash, they might not drop trash later as adults. We have a lot of adults along the road that are just throwing their DQ and Hardy bags up and down the road, and I don't know what we can do to stop that, but it is another pet peeve. So I think quality of life, cleanliness, safety, all of those things are important. You know, we had a lot of challenges as far as expenses are concerned, and I think y'all worked. I know the amount of working time that went into passing this budget. It's hard. But as a business owner, I know that that's a really difficult thing, is to balance the needs and the expenses and what revenues you have coming in. Sometimes you have to spend money to make money. Sometimes everybody, including us citizens, need to tighten up a little bit, because it will take that in order to pay for the extra people we need. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anybody have any? I dare not. That ended the people who had signed up. And we said it previously, and I think we repeated it enough that you know, that if anybody would like to speak, what I'll try to do is, if you would like to speak, or if you raise your hand, and I will recognize you to come speak. And when you speak, you can talk to us, share ideas, or you can ask questions. As we said before, we don't know the answer, we don't have the answer for you. Decide. And please, when you come up, state your name and your address. Thank you.
I am Vera Sykes. I live on 217 Sycamore Road, Franklin, Virginia. I'm a person that really loves the city of Franklin, but there's some things that really bothers me as well as other members in Franklin. Our school, the middle school on 2nd Avenue, I believe it's 2nd Avenue, next to those apartment house. When in the world are you going to get rid of that place? It's been in the paper about discussing about that building. That is a sore eye for our school in Franklin. It is boarded up for years and years and years. Why can't we get an answer on that? You either use it or tear it down. It's a dirty looking place next to our schools. I can tell you one person that does want to come to Franklin, but she saw that appearance next to a middle school. She said, that looks terrible. Why is that one school in Franklin takes away the appearance of the other schools? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. I can give you a short answer to that, which is that the individual who owns that property came to council, I want to say it's been 3 years ago now, with the idea that he had a plan and he needed some immediate action from us so that he could go to work on it. That never happened. The property that you're talking about has been up for a tax sale on 3 different occasions. Each time the money has been paid for the back taxes, or that individual has basically dissolved one of his companies and started another company. It's as frustrating for us, Ms. Sykes, as it is for you. And we have our people in community development are citing them constantly for grass cutting, for trash, and for everything else. We have got to find a way, and I think this gets to the whole point that people have been talking about. Some of the ordinances that we need to enforce them. We're doing a poor job of enforcing some of our ordinances. This is one of them. For the safety and health, as well as the aesthetics, you can't just do it because of aesthetics, but the safety and health issue. And, you know, when a piece of property like that stays abandoned for so long, it becomes a safety and health issue. So we haven't forgot it. We're still working it as best we can within the guidelines of the Virginia state laws and things that we can do. So that's, I wish we could say, we could condemn it ourselves and move on, but unfortunately we can't, because we have the same frustration as you do.
But it's the appearances that bothers.
It bothers all of us, and that's not the only piece of property. If you ride around town, we have been looking, as when we go out on the 17th of June, we will identify those properties again. They have been identified numerous times to know that they're the things that we as council have been talking about, and we want to make sure that we start addressing those things in a more diligent manner than we have. We all do. Okay. That's all right.
It's interesting that you bring that property up, because in the retreat that we had, that property came up for subject. And I told council that I would reach out to them because it actually sits in Ward 3, and I'm in council number Ward 3. And I did reach out to him, and I got 2 things that I will share with you. One is he finally got the financing things that he said he needed at other properties in order to be able to move forward on that property. That has been accomplished, and he is trying to move forward. Like yourself, I'm frustrated with it taking so long. I ask you to think about downtown Main Street. There's a building, used to be a restaurant called Finn's. You notice how long it's been empty? Long time, right? Because some people have figured out, kind of like our president, ways to work the system where it's more financially feasible for them to not fix up or open a property. They can use it as a tax loss. And that's what some people do, unfortunately. I propose, which was an idea from a citizen, that we look at some sort of a vacancy tax. When you leave businesses or possibly residents, when you leave them vacant for so long, there is a tax applied to it, which will prompt people to get those places rented or utilized. So it puts pressure on them and it generates revenue for the city. But he said It is being worked now because they finally did get the financing in place that they want.
I've talked to this gentleman who owns property next door to me. He's told me the same thing you just said.
He's told me,
No.
we've heard the same thing now for 4 years. We'll see what happens. Okay, I think, Jerry.
Good evening. Jared McCreary, 508 North High Street. I want to thank the new city manager for letting me know last night about this meeting tonight. I did read it in the paper. And I mentioned that because two things. Also, city councilman, I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Johnson.
Mr. Johnson. One thing I want to address, what he was talking about, is branding. I've worked over 25 years in marketing and graphic design and branding. The most successful branding is simply recognizing your best quality and speaking the truth about it. It's not making up some facade for other people to, whether it's a business or a product or a city. Just basically communicate the best of what you have to offer. Currently, what Franklin has the best to offer is people, is community. We have, like any community is gonna have its problems. But by and large, I see very friendly people in public, at restaurants, neighbors, friends across town, people at different businesses. We see frequently. I grew up in Suffolk and then moved to Georgia and lived there for 19 years. And it was maybe 3 times in 19 years that I go in public and see somebody that I knew. Here, I see somebody I know every day, I really enjoy living here. Yes, there are frustrations, but I'm very pleased that the city council has decided to open this forum up tonight and let us speak. I do agree with some of the other suggestions. Again, as far as branding, I think, again, it's people that the friendliness, the friendships. I do agree that what's called the quality of life. I think cleaning up around town, making sure grasses are cut, trash is picked up, and I think reinstilling some pride in our community as far as its appearance. I know, we have a long history of the mill closing, reopening, a lot of money leaving the town. But when I moved here 15 years ago, I bought an old house and started renovating it. And it's still renovating it. But it takes time and money and energy. But it's very encouraging to see other people move here and do the same. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Patrice Jones, 220 Ivy Street, Franklin. I have a couple of concerns. I've lived here most of my life, now it's maybe 20 years when I moved away, come back home. There's no growth here. You need movies. I have a young man coming up in my household. I don't wanna see him lost to the streets. So I think we do need to upgrade, do better, bring in jobs, bring in retail, different stores, restaurants, hotels, 3 hotels that I can't even have my family to come in from out of town to stay. We gotta always suffer. Y'all look for us to give our revenue to another city versus our city. Schools. Same 3 schools that I went through when I was here, still standing. We need some new schools. And another question I have, of course, you know that light bill, it's crazy. Something needs to really be done about that. But my main concern is, how is the city getting funding when we don't have any business coming in? How are we getting past the city being paid? My answer to that is that light bill. So, we need to get on the hook for it. Yeah, we do need to work together as a team, but you all need to do better as a city council. Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, Ms. Jones. Something needs to be done in regard to these utilities. And we, as a council, I think it's one of our short-term goals. So we will be looking at that, and hopefully we can work as a team with the council to make a difference with the utilities.
Mayor, it's told me I don't need to speak on it. I agree with you, Ms. Jones, but in order for us to get chains, franchise businesses, hotels, and things, these people they do their homework before they come to a city. That article didn't help us any as far as new businesses wanting to come here. Mr. Johnson spoke about branding, as did Mr. Curry. And I have been pushing for 9 years. Back in 2008, I started pushing for branding along Solar City lines. Approaching something that people want to be a part of that is small, growing, but they have a plan. If you ask individually 7 different council members up here, where do we plan on being in the next 10 years? I guarantee you're gonna get 7 different answers. See, and as much as I'm the only one up here, I think, is wearing a Franklin shirt. Simply saying, I'm proud of Franklin. I don't care what they say. You got a question. I'm proud of it, and it's like your child. They may not be doing what you want them to do, but you love them anyway. And that's the kind of, I had to go through, this past weekend I was in Florida visiting with my son, and I really caught it bad because they're like, why don't you leave there? Now it's been considered the worst city in Virginia. And I had to defend that. And naturally, I don't agree, I don't agree with it. It's wrong, and I apologize to every citizen in this room for you having to endure hearing that about our city, because our city is not bad. There are some things I've heard tonight that I don't necessarily agree with as far as the safety of our city. I walk the streets, and I live on the south side. I walk my dog at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Those streets, I never feel unsafe, and it's not because I got a dog. So I don't feel unsafe in Franklin. We've had 1 killing in our city in over a year. This is not an unsafe city by any stretch of the imagination, and I would challenge the people in this room that have been accosted. So that says 2 things. 1 is our police are doing a good job in keeping our city safe. And 2 is we don't have that much crime. We have crime, but they try to give us, they mentioned in that article about car thefts. I don't think anybody in this room knows of a stolen car in Franklin. So I have to agree, fake news, it wasn't real. But we need to have one accord in the direction that we're going in. It was mentioned a bedroom community. If that is what is chosen for the city to pursue, then I, as a council member, will support that to be on the team. But personally, I think we're looking at attracting retiring people. And I think, like Mr. Smith said, we need to go after the youth. That's the lifeblood. Otherwise, our kids are gonna continue to leave here, go to college and never come home, or just come to visit. We need to be doing things to attract the youth. And we need to have a plan that will attract businesses and restaurants and things like you're talking about. The light bill is a problem. The utility bills, we as a council, and it was brought up, I don't remember who brought it up, and I think that is important, who brings up what. But it did come up that we need to visit breaking up the bills so that we don't have just one utility bill. You can pay your light bills separate from the other bills. This way you have an opportunity to really gauge the difference between what we pay for electric from the city of Franklin and from the Dominion or community electric, what they charge. Tonight, they had a town hall meeting scheduled in Southampton with the delegates. That meeting was canceled because around 1 o'clock this afternoon, they had somebody hit some poles. And they're not to have power back on until 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. That's one of the jewels about having our own power system in Franklin. We're not at the end of the list when it comes to getting to us to get our system up. And our people do a great job. When your lights are down, they're pretty much up within an hour or two usually. That's to be commendable, and that's because you live here in Franklin. So we have problems, I agree with you. But the biggest problem we have, I think, is your council getting on the same accord of where we are trying to take the city. So that we can, if you can't go in your car, go out there and get your car without having a destination. And then with that destination, you take a route. And you follow that route and you will get to your destination eventually. But if you don't have a set destination that you're trying to get to, without a bunch of vague words, then it's very difficult to attract outside businesses to want to come and be a part of something so haphazard. So I think that's what we need to do to address your concerns.
Thank you. I think just a second, just one point. I think when the individual, and I hesitate to do this, but the person was talking about safety, I think they were talking about walking trails and bike trails and those types of things to make it more convenient for the people who live in those areas, not necessarily whether it was an unsafe place to be walking, taking your dog out at 4:30. And just let me remind everybody, contrary to some of the things that you're hearing, one of the reasons that we are doing this, and probably the primary reason we're doing this, is to get your input so we can all get on one accord about what we want. So that's the main purpose of what we're doing. Yes, sir.
Hi there. Hi there. My name is Justin Campbell. I live at 105 Sunset Drive. We've only been here for about a year and a half, bought a house up here. And just speaking from the new guys coming into town, you know, there's not a lot keeping us here in town. You know, my reason for coming out here is I cover most of the territory in the Hampton Roads area, and the cost of living out here is a lot more affordable, more bang for my buck out here. I love it out here. The people out here are great. In fact, to the point I've been working with Downtown Dan, maybe even open up a business. I'd love the opportunity to do a kayak business out there. That was put on hold. One of the businesses I wanted to look more into, because it's been abandoned. I know you guys talked about that earlier, was the H&R Block building. It's a fine building. It's been empty forever. I get it. They pay their taxes. Just like a gentleman that has an apartment, they pay their taxes, they play the game. It is what it is. I mean, it'll always be that way. But I've come from other places, from Ohio, from Virginia, and you know, there are things you can be put in place to kind of hold them accountable to the properties. And it's sad to see some of the things. that would keep us from here. I mean, my wife, she goes to Chesapeake and Suffolk all the time. That's where she does all her shopping at. I mean, there's no reason to shop here. I mean, oh, great, there's some good clothes there. Walmart, Farm Fresh was our spot, and she had her Starbucks. It kept her happy. I'm glad there's other coffee places that are popping up. Starbucks is a real packed place. You know, so it's, for her, leaving's not a problem. I commute to Chesapeake all the time from my office, 45-minute drive. I don't mind that commute. What they were saying about quality of life, that's huge. And what they had mentioned about streets, where I live at, there's very little streets with sidewalks. That is one of our top priorities for my family. I have kids. Despite a lot of people telling me to put my kids in other schools, I did take the chance last year to put them into Franklin schools. Didn't regret it. It's been challenging, especially when you have Southampton, we're walking $1,000 a year to send them over there. Blows my mind that it's such a low price to put them in another school district. And especially for me being where I am, raised by Hunterdale and college and all that, I have a school that's 2 miles away. Not that the schools are bad, they're different, but it's 2 miles away. It's a lot more convenient. So I love this. It's the first time I've ever done this. I didn't intend speaking, but I hope you guys can get together and hear what we're saying. Colleges, that's great. I'm glad we have college here, but them getting jobs, great. But if the kid wants to go to college, there's not really a place for the state. You have those apartments right there across from the bank that shut down. That I don't know if people should live there. I have no clue. On the one, there's very little place for, if you are going to attract younger people. We're mid-30s. There's absolutely nothing here to do. We go bowling, love bowling there. Very affordable, love it. There's nothing else to do though. So I love the idea of the walkways. That would be wonderful, especially on Hunterdale and throughout downtown. We ride our bikes all the way downtown. I have seen a sign that says no bike. So I hope you guys continue doing what you're doing and moving forward though.
And welcome, good to have you all. And I hope that the no biking sign you're seeing that says no biking on the sidewalk, okay? I'll have to look at it. I know we have some that said no bikes on the sidewalk, but that is something that we need to take a look at. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening to our city council. My name is Andrea Hall-Leonard. I reside at 214 Thomas Street, Franklin, Virginia. And tonight I have just wanted to highlight and to thank some people this evening for some of the good things that you're doing here in our city. At this time, I know that none of these people are aware that I'm going to say that, but as I look around this room, I see various people who have served our city schools. So if you don't mind, I'm going to turn this way. Would you please stand if you've ever served in the capacity for Franklin City Public? Thank you.
Thank you.
Because for me, I would like to highlight the good things in our city and that we're proud of the fact that all 3 of our schools are accredited after 7 years. That is a big deal. That's SP Elementary School, Joseph P. King Middle School, and Franklin High School. Our city school board, we are very proud and indeed grateful for the increased collaboration with city council. Tonight, over 75 students from all 3 of our schools were inducted in the National Honor Society. It was amazing to see our students and their families celebrating academic achievement for the induction of the Elementary Honor Society, the National Junior Honor Society, and the National Honor Society. As recent as of yesterday, the Franklin City School Board's Food and Nutrition Program, Family Style Dining, was featured on WTKR News. On behalf of our school board, we express our sincere gratitude to City Council for not cutting the schools. That means for each one of you who were in support of not cutting the schools. Thank you. This summer, we have students from all 3 schools scheduled to attend STEM programs to help our students increase in CTE and career readiness. Some of the schools, to name a few, is Virginia Tech University, the College of William and Mary. I propose this evening, as I have been also attending the collaboration meetings at Franklin Parks and Recreation that are led by Mr. Davis, Frank Davis, also Samara Bailey, and is chaired by Reverend Anthony Rollins. I propose that we increase intergenerational programs so that all persons can learn from each other. And in doing that, it would also increase our early learning. I encourage all the citizens this evening to share the link with others. We must tell our own story, positive stories in our community. Share the link from WTKR. You can see our students in a family style dining, teaching them manners and etiquette with tablecloths, serving one another. Watch and share the promotional video on Franklin City Public Schools website. We are also appreciative tonight, as I look around the room, I see representatives from Bronco Federal Credit Union, who has recently sponsored a luncheon on behalf of the schools to give the schools an opportunity to share the good things happening in our schools. And we are grateful for our community partners, such as Bronco Federal Credit Union. Also, some other community partners that I'd like to mention is the Mount Olive Food Pantry, who serves this community weekly to residents who are unable to provide for their families. They recently partnered with Franklin City Public Schools for the Thanksgiving celebration to feed families. I also want to thank, as I looked around the room, that Celebration Church, Reverend Anthony Rollins had his staff out recently to the schools to celebrate and to give back during Teacher Appreciation Day. Thank you, Miss Amanda Jarrett, who are recently in this role. Knowing that there is a large task ahead of you, I want to say thank you to Franklin City Public Schools, City Council, each one of you. Lastly, I'd just like to say positive. Can we all just begin to work together, increasing more positive collaboration? Thank you so much for your time and the opportunity to share.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Yes, yes. I would like to basically springboard a bit on what Dr. Leonard, Paul Leonard has said. And the schools in cities that we work with in VML, the school system makes the city. The school system develops the city. And what I mean by that, economically, if businesses are coming in to your city, you need a top-notch school. No businesses want to come to a city where the schools are not accredited, because they want to bring their family, their kids, and a workforce of development. That's very important. That's one of the things that we have, and I thank the school system for that, and the citizens as well as city council. We're all working together. We have made that accomplishment for 3 schools are accredited. Now the table is set basically to move forward economically in building Franklin the way it should be to meet the 21st century. Because without that, that was a component that was keeping businesses out of the city of Franklin. And we have overcome that hurdle with hard work and development. And now we have other hurdles such as we said, the utilities. We want to work on that still constantly, evaluate that, and look at ideas like we're doing. One question is whether or not to keep it. Economically, basically, we may want to get rid of it. Who knows? So, but with that decision, the first and foremost, the individuals that are important is the citizens of Franklin. We want to do what's best for the citizens of Franklin. And I can truly say that we have an awesome city manager, and each member of council is dedicated, working together for the citizens of the city of Franklin, Virginia. And I'm excited about that. No matter what people may say and bring some negativity to you, think positive, because the positiveness is the thing that's going to get us moving forward. Nothing negative. We can fix that, but we have to work together. And we're looking at other organizations throughout the city that we work with to see where they're going. We want to build a city that's second to none in this region, because as one gentleman came up and said, the cost of living is far better, and that's my selling point when I work with individuals throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia and in economical planning. I tell them, you're crowded in the Hampton Roads area. Why not come out west? We have the proper taxes that's affordable. We have everything in place. We're building infrastructure to move forward. That's the way you move a city. As we said, we have the schools in place. Now we'll get the rest of the city and everything in place so we can move forward. That's the way to move forward. One of the other things I want to mention is, and I think it's coming out in the Tidewater News if it hasn't come out already, and that is the Virginia Food Bank. We're working with Virginia Food Bank, and I worked with the Virginia Food Bank, and we wrote a grant with the Virginia Food Bank to get $300,000 to build a food hub here in the city. So the citizens of Franklin and Southampton County can come and get fresh vegetables and food, because there's a 27% food deficit as we speak now among our citizens. And I know other organizations that was mentioned is coming on board to work with us so we can build a hub so no one will be hungry, no one will go without, and that works with our students as well, of the programs where the students will get food as well. So basically, when I say teamwork, it means every individual. And one important part of working a team is there are team plays. You have to believe in the play. Work the play. If you work the play, you'll win. If you don't work together and work in the play, there's no way we can win. So as I look around in this room and I see the various citizens of concern, in order to move forward, we must work together, and I can't emphasize that enough, but we have plays, and City Council has plays that we're working for you to move forward. That's why we're here, to get your input. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well, Ray, then once. Okay. We said, we did say.
Can I ask one question?
Certainly. Then you may speak, go to.
I call this one of the Franklin myths, and I think tonight's a perfect opportunity, since we've been talking about this, to try to alleviate one of these myths that's been around Franklin for as long as I can remember. We continuously hear about people who want to give up the Franklin charter and go back to the county and be a town. I'd like each individual city council member to just state whether they believe that's true or not, or whether we should or should not give up our charter and go back to being a town. If you don't mind doing
What we met. Yes, it's done. You want to start now?
Go ahead.
Okay, basically, that is a myth because.
Hold on, let us try to be brief, it's a yes, no kind of, answer what we're looking for.
Okay, but I want to put this out, basically. Cities financially have more economic resources than counties. A town can go out of business in non-existence, but a city cannot. There are some cities that the state is helping now that were in dire need of help. They did not go out of business because they were a city. And basically, once you become a larger city and increase, you can move from the state and go to the federal government directly. But to my answer is, if, and I'm gonna throw this out since Mr. Smith said that, if there's any annexation, Franklin should annex Southampton County and parts of Isle of Wight to become the largest city in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So you know how I feel about that. And remain a city. Thank you.
Mr. Matthew, go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's not a myth. There are people who have been working towards that goal for a long time. Now, I'm known for speaking my mind and telling it like it is and let the chips fall where they may. There's a group of people, including some people on this council.
I'm only interested in what you think.
I don't think we should turn in the charter. I think we should remain a city. So it's not a myth, though.
What I do, I thought you were along. We should remain a city. I do believe there's things that we can share, services and stuff to make it cheaper, but we will remain a city as long as I'm up here.
Brief and to the point, we should remain as a city of Franklin.
I agree. Franklin, we'll go. Remain a city.
Currently, yes. Go for it.
Good evening. I don't know if that's a good question to come up behind or not, but I'm here. Maybe I should have held my hand out a little bit longer. I would like to thank y'all for what y'all are doing tonight. I was informed that I've been really busy on dealing with the situation in my own personal life, that I hadn't had time to really get out and see what's really going on out here. And so I found out about this, so kind of as not prepared as I like to be. But I felt it necessary to come. A friend of mine asked me was to come. I said, yeah, I'm trying to get out here tonight, and I did. And but I would like to say that I have a genuine love for this city. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I really love Franklin. I think Franklin was misrepresented last week. That is not the true Franklin that I know. Like everyone says, we have our issues, but I think it can be worked out. I believe in unity. I believe in community. And I believe that if we do things together, we can accomplish a lot. We have people that are working on several different projects in the city. I've heard downtown, I've heard economic growth, and I'm standing up here for the youth of the city. I think we're missing a vital part of our city of quality of life, as Mr. Ray said a second ago. That is a very vital part of this community is the youth. They're future you guys up here. They'll be sitting up here one day, we hope. And that's what we want to see. I've been in business in this area for 30 years next year. I'm excited about that, and I'm believing God for 30 more years. I call each one of you go up on this power tonight, friend. I can come and talk to either one of y'all at any given time. Y'all doors are open for me, and I appreciate that. And my concern, I understand the budget. I understand Ms. Jerry has stepped into a great big pile. Y'all can call it whatever you want, but it's a pile. and things of priority have to take place, and we understand that. And we understand that you have to put the money, you have to stop the bleeding. We understand that. But if we overlook some vital parts of this community, which is, for me, is for the youth, I think we're gonna miss it again. And I think with the partnerships that can be created throughout the community, I think we can still get this done, a vision that part of the organization I'm part of that we can get done. I think with the community's support, I think with the businesses, the financial institutions, the foundations, I don't think it will cost the city a penny to get this done. All we need is the city's support. We have grant writers that can write grants. If you ask me to write one, we won't get one. But I think we have grant writers who can put this thing together. There's a grant circulating right now. It's the Overseas Foundation grant. And I think that can be put to a good use in our community. And it'd be devastating to miss this grant and to be able to do some things for our youth as well as other projects that are in the city. We have some projects that, we have a project that we're working on, is maximizing our Parks and Rec department of the city of Franklin. I understand that, some cuts had to be made, but we still need to focus on, again, I keep saying, our youth. I don't think we're maximizing our community center. I think there's a lot more left undone. They're doing a great job of what they have, but I feel that we still should give them a little more. We have to bend a little and put more into that organization. I think Frank James and the staff is doing a great job with what they have. Our upcoming director, as he departs, we hope that, that it'll be the person that take the job for us to take it to the next level. And I believe that can happen if we get the support of the council, which I believe we have. My phone's going dead, so when my phone goes dead, that means that's what it should stop talking. but I don't want to miss a couple of points that I want to highlight. One's the quality of life and the grants that are out there, and then we have community partners who have, we've already started a fund, our organization's already started a fund, and we have already started raising money towards this, and we have, the community has put in money towards the multi-purpose facility added on to the King Center, to the community center here. And when I go talk to them, or we talk to them, they're excited about, somebody who wants to take a stand to give our youth some directions. There's some programs we can implement to where for tutoring programs, mentoring programs, trade skills. There's so much can be done. There's people already in line who wants to come in and offer different skill sets to the kids. I mean, it's just amazing how, we say we don't have bicycle trails and everything like that, but we don't see a lot of kids riding bikes anymore. Why is that? It's because we found other devices to babysit our kids. But something like that could motivate them to go out there and ride a bike. I personally have a vision to buy a bicycle and have a kid tear it apart and put it back together to learn skills. And then once he put that together, he's proud of that. He's cleaning it up. He's putting whatever he can on his wheels to make it, because he's proud of something he's put together with his own hands. We got to get back into, I know college is not for everybody. I didn't go to college, but I survived almost 30 years of business. Better like school good. But if you get around the right people and the positive mentors and the positive people in your life to direct you and guide you, you can be successful in a place called Franklin. I'm a living witness. I was raised by a single parent in the worst area where it's called today, on Dorchester, to where it's not desirable to be. Some kids are a victim of circumstance. We didn't want to be there, but we had no choice. Either you made the best of it or you failed. And I want to say, and I want to thank my mother for raising 4 boys and 1 girl by herself in a single parent home to help me be the man that I am today. So I know how important it is to have great mentorship. And that facility was a vital part to my life today. We worked in there. They had the STOP organization. I think Ms. Waters just left. We had the STOP organization who offered jobs for the kids when they get out of school. Can you imagine a 16-year-old gets a check for $280 that he's earned, and he's able to go into Walmart. We didn't have no Walmart, man. We had Roses. We went to Roses and buy you one of those little cars, and you look through the back window, you see something inside of it, and you're just excited to be able to go buy it for yourself. We had Leggings downtown, to where we had to go buy a pair of shoes that come back in style now that we were kind of embarrassed to wear. With those Chuck Taylors, I think the name was, Mark. You know, you went and bought your pair of Chuck Taylors, but you were proud. You had the fat shoelaces that you put in because you want to style, you want to look cute for the girls. And that's what you did with your money. But you earned that money. You were proud because you earned that money. And I say to you again, we need those programs like STOP Organization, opportunity to get these kids back motivated about living, other than sitting behind a device that parents have made babysitters for them. We got to get back a hold. We have to take a hold of our youth again. I want to say thank you for listening, and thank you for the opportunity. And we're looking forward to the success of the city of Franklin. We will not take what they put out there lying down. We are going to push forward. Thank you so much for all you do, and hoping I can do a little more. God bless.
Thank you. Anybody else? Well, on behalf of council, thank you. This has been most informative, and really, I think we've come away with some really, really good thoughts and ideas that support some of the things that we've talked about on the surface. But now we need to really start trying to cultivate those things and make them happen. We appreciate everyone coming out. We will have another meeting, I think it's on June the 11th at 7 p.m. For those people who spoke once and want to speak again, we will give you that opportunity. Maybe. But, you know, for those of you who are here tonight, please let your friends and neighbors know that it's not a bad thing to come do. We appreciate it. It gives us a lot of insight. We will try to resist the temptation to politicize this thing at the next one. We need to answer your questions. I'm reminded of an old adage that the good Lord gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. There's probably a reason for that. As opposed to maybe council needs to hear it, is maybe we need to listen twice as much as we talk. Sometimes we don't do that, for that we apologize. But anyhow, thank you all again for coming out. Godspeed. Have a very safe Memorial Day weekend. Thank you very much.